Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Scott Palmer, Dave Roberts, Cecily Tynan, and Lisa Thomas-Laurie.
The worst snowstorm to hit the area in 7 years has buried the tri-state region in knee-deep snow. The snow is still falling tonight, but the end is in sight. That's the good news. It is Monday evening. Lisa Thomas-Laurie is off. I'm Rick Williams, along with Monica Malpass.
And the big story is the winter storm of 2003 here on Action News. It will be several days before our region finishes digging out from all of this. Let's go live to Sky 6, check out some of the conditions for you. This is I-95 at 320 in Chester, Delaware County. You actually see blacktop on 3 lanes in each direction, so traffic is zipping along here at a pretty good clip. May not be up to the normal 55 miles an hour, but folks seem to be moving along with no problem. The impact of today's storm, though, will have likely been far worse, if not for the fact that this was a holiday, of course, President's Day. Most folks not scheduled to go to work or school today, and so road crews could get out there and do a terrific job on the major thoroughfares. At least a lot of the side roads and tertiary roads still having a problem, but these main routes looking pretty good. We'll have a complete traffic report in a couple of minutes. Meantime, let's get to those other streets in Philadelphia. Street crews working 12-hour shifts around the clock trying to get a handle on this. There is so much snow that many streets do look like they haven't been touched, even though they may have. And while the driving's dangerous for these smaller streets, the walking also pretty strenuous. Takes a lot of effort to get through these knee-deep snow drifts. A note for parents and students, as Jim just mentioned, Philadelphia public and parochial schools are closed tomorrow because of the snow conditions, and we will be showing you the complete list of closures at the bottom of your screen. It does repeat automatically throughout our newscast. Well, the state of emergency remains in effect in Delaware tonight, and that means only emergency and snow removal personnel are legally allowed to drive on Delaware roads. If you don't have a reason, a suitable medical reason or other emergency for being on the roads, then you could face a several $100 fine.
And conditions aren't any better in South Jersey tonight. Action News in Cherry Hill today, where several drivers spent the morning spinning their wheels. An ambulance even got stuck in the snow. Fortunately, there were no patients on board. It's been a day of digging out across the region. People in Washington Township spent the morning shoveling their walks. This is a scene in Center City as well. The snow, high winds, and full moon have combined to cause some tidal flooding at the shore. Streets in Ocean City were flooded with an icy, slushy mix today, making for some slow and hazardous going. The storm has also caused some beach erosion. We'll have a live report from the Jersey Shore coming up in just a few moments. But first, Dave Roberts and Cecily Tynan are here with the latest from AccuWeather. Let's go outside first to Dave. Good evening, David.
How you doing, Rick? Very nice night tonight. The snow has finally stopped snowing. City Avenue is literally deserted. We've seen several plows going by, a few cars, lots of emergency vehicles, an ambulance went by, a front loader. The traffic seems to be all related to removing the snow, and that's a good thing. Snow, snow, and there was more snow. Look at the numbers. Philadelphia, 18 inches to report. Wynwood, 21 inches. Downingtown also hit that 21-inch mark, and in Percy, 19 inches of snow. New Jersey, Hamilton, 21. Mount Laurel, 20.5. We'll do that same 20.5 for Glassboro. Cape May Courthouse, 17 inches of snow. And in Delaware, Dover, 21 inches. Harrington, 20 inches. Newcastle, 21. And Bear, Delaware, 23.5 inches of snow. And there is no more snow on the way, at least of the major variety, right, Cecily Tynan?
That's right, Dave. Fortunately, the snow continues to move out. Let's show you Storm Tracker 6 live as it scans the Delaware Valley. You can see around Philadelphia, all areas to the south, the snow is out of here. We still have some lingering snow, though, generally north and east. You can see around Trenton reporting light snow, a little bit more moderate snow near Princeton. And then as we head a little bit farther up to the north and west, you can see near Allentown, kind of on the edge, the light snow. Phillipsburg reporting a mixture of some sleet and even some rain, and then we're still getting the sleet across the Jersey Shore near Belmar, Long Branch reporting some sleet. But this storm system continues to lift out of here. Action radar showing we're actually looking at 2 areas of precipitation. The heavy stuff is moving up into New England. This is associated with the coastal low, the nor'easter that we've been tracking. There's still, though, another batch that'll be swinging through later on tonight after about 7, 8 o'clock. This upper level low, another piece of energy kind of left over. This will be swinging through. This brings us maybe another half-inch of snow, but generally, though, the storm system for the Delaware Valley continues to move out, and fortunately, everything will be settling down. Let's head right back outside to Dave. Dave?
Okay, thank you very much, Cecily. As we look here on City Avenue, again, we're starting to see just a few more cars, but we had a bus move up this incline here without any problems, and just a few short hours ago, that was not possible. So things are improving. Now, what can we all expect as we start to get our lives together and get back to things in Philadelphia tonight? Well, 24 degrees for that low, clouds, less wind, and you could see some spotty snow or some flurries in reference to what Cecily talked about through the early evening hours. Rush hour in the morning, 26 degrees. Don't rush. Let's make it go carefully. The AM go carefully hour. 26 degrees. It's going to be cloudy and it's going to be cold. If you're down at the shore tonight, 31 degrees, cloudy, windy, and cold. Again, spotty snow and flurries. Same situation for them. And again, their rush hour in the morning, 32 degrees, cloudy and brisk. We'll be back in just a few minutes and take a look at the storm systems as they continue to move away from us. What's next? We'll talk about the 5-day, and we'll have a few more snow totals for you as we continue. We're live here in City Avenue, a lot better than it was just a few hours ago. Monica?
All right, thank you, Dave. Doing a great job. Well, clearing the roads, of course, is just part of the monumental task in Philadelphia. Getting rid of the piled-up snow is the second major chore. Action News in Old City today near 4th and Market, where street crews had piled up the snow into small mountains, if you will. Front-end loaders then loaded the snow into dump trucks to be taken away to several sites here marked by the city for snow removal. And Action News reporter Michelle McCormack live in Spring Garden tonight with more on that city removal plan. How's it going, Michelle?
Well, Monica, at a briefing shortly from the Emergency Operations Center a short time ago, the mayor is reporting that drifting is now becoming a problem, that no sooner do they plow a street, clear a street, that the snow is then drifting back onto the pavement. Also complicating things, people going to some outrageous means in hopes of getting their street plowed. Extra medics have been called in to handle an increase of 30% in emergency calls. Several of these calls turning out to be bogus. People figuring that if they report a medical emergency on their block, it will get a plow to their street sooner. The mayor is not happy.
We're asking people out there not to play a game. Don't make up emergencies. Don't pretend like you have children that need help that might not, that you don't need. We've had people calling saying that I have a medical emergency and I can't, and I need to get somebody to the hospital, but we need our street plowed first. Can you get us a plow out here? Now that's a little bit beyond. I mean, they're used to, this is something where people are trying to use a medical emergency to try to get a snow plow.
Meantime, in Center City, they are melting the snow, trucking it in from various Center City locations to various intersections. This one was at 5th and Market. The operator of the mobile snow melter says one unit can melt 100 tons of snow in 1 hour. He says that's 5 times faster than if you relied solely on a trucking operation. They used this to clear Market Street from the Mummers Parade 3 years ago. They think it'll work this time around.
Actually, a bunch of pipes that get real hot, and when you dump the snow in, it turns it into water, and the water company comes out in advance to make sure the inlets are nice and clean, and all the snow melts and goes right down the inlet. Instead of having to traverse it somewhere and dump it, it actually makes it disappear.
And if it's not going to disappear, it's probably going to the Naval Yard. They are trucking the snow to an abandoned airstrip, as well as some parking lots at the Navy Yard. They are dumping the snow there and hopes that eventually Mother Nature will melt it down. The Department of Environmental Protection also gave approval to dump more snow into the Schuylkill River. City offices will be open tomorrow. The mayor is urging employees to use public transportation or carpool. He's also asking folks, don't double park, don't park near the corners, let the plows through. That's the latest from the Emergency Operations Center. I'm Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, Michelle, thank you for that report. Traffic in and around Ocean City, New Jersey was bad enough today with the storm. Then a utility pole collapsed and blocked one of only 3 routes into town. Happened at about noon today. Police say they don't know what caused the pole to topple. New Jersey correspondent Kathy Gandolfo joins us now from the 9th Street Bridge with the latest from there. Good evening, Kathy.
Good evening, Rick. One of the many problems facing coastal residents. They've had a lot to deal with the last couple of days. along with the emergency management people who've had to deal with snow removal and getting the snow off of the streets, and it's going to take a long time for that to happen. Although they have done a very good job today, there's still a lot of work to do. The next thing they're going to have to deal with is beach replenishment. What you're looking at here is about a 3-foot-high cliff that formed just this morning during this morning's high tide. This is how it looked during this morning's high tide. Here at New Haven Avenue in Ventnor, the storm-driven surf repeatedly pounded the bulkhead, sending torrents of water to the second floor of these beachfront homes. Some couldn't resist the desire to come and watch it.
Beautiful, powerful, very peaceful in a way. And I just finished shoveling my driveway, so I said I'd take a little rest and come down and see the high tide.
I've lived down here all my life, and I'd say this is about probably the second worst storm that I've experienced, and I'm 43 years old, so. Blinking lights of emergency vehicles and plows made their way through deserted streets filled with about 18 inches of snow. Some vehicles that were in the way got the hook.
Tow this out of here because it's an emergency route, so the plows can plow this down. This is the county highway.
There was some minor back bay flooding in Atlantic City and Ventnor Heights, and here's how it looked in Ocean City's low-lying areas where the bay spilled onto streets. All in all, though, the flooding could have been a lot worse. Now, coastal officials will certainly be watching tonight's high tide, although frankly they say they don't expect it to be nearly as bad as this morning's, and hopefully they are right, because they have really been buffeted down here the last couple of days. Live in Ventnor, I'm Kathy Gandolfo, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, thanks again, Kathy. Action News reporter Matt O'Donnell's live in Phoenixville, Chester County with a check on conditions in suburban Philadelphia and that part of the world tonight. How you doing, Matt?
How you doing, Monica? You know, they seem to be running out of places to put snow, so they're putting it right under me. I'm about, well, I guess 1.5 stories up in the air here. This is all the snow that they've plowed in this area. This is like a 5-point intersection, so a lot of snow to be plowed, plowing it all in one spot. So that's why we have such a huge mound over here along 23 in Phoenixville. The official snow totals for the region are not in just yet, but the Action News Weather Department has advised me that it is safe to say a conservative estimate of the amount of snow that has fallen up here is 22 inches, nearly 2 feet of snow. We checked around all across northern Chester County. Here's what we found. Hopefully this youngster didn't think he'd spend the day playing on his swing set. The snow was piled all the way up to the bottoms of the swings. We kept the action cam pointed his way in case he suddenly disappeared. Folks in Spring City are trying to dig out with the rest of us here in the Delaware Valley, shoveling their walks, trying to clear off their cars, shoveling, snow blowing, shoveling. You get the picture. And don't expect to see dark pavement anytime soon. This is Route 724, and PennDOT has been plowing it nonstop. It is still covered with snow. State officials have been asking motorists to stay off the roadways so they can attack the region with their plows and attempt to blaze trails for a Tuesday morning rush that is still a question mark. But life somehow must go on. Somehow. Ambulances are equipped with chains on their tires, and now that the snow has stopped, the snow blowing is starting to make a serious dent. And for those who live in the hillier, less navigable regions of northern Chester County, it's alternative transportation for now.
Got the snowmobile out, and I bought it last July for a couple $100. I never thought I'd get this many miles out of it this winter.
Now, the heavy snow stopped falling at about 2 o'clock this afternoon here in Phoenixville. Since then, traffic has really picked up, at least here on Route 23 and the other major roadways in this area. People, I guess, are starting to get cabin fever. Also probably starting to say, well, you know, maybe it is all right to go out and drive on the roadways because once the streets are plowed, they're not going to accumulate again. We went into some of the tighter streets in Phoenixville earlier this afternoon, and we'll have that story for you coming up at 6. They got some tight spaces for their cars, and they're trying to dig out from there. Live in Phoenixville, Matt O'Donnell, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, Matt, it's too bad you don't have your skis on there. Thank you. All right, let's check out the situation at the Philadelphia International Airport. Action News reporter John Rylands joins us live there. Any signs of life at the airport tonight, John?
Quite a few signs of life. The plan is to have the main runway here open in the next hour. Now, no plans for any departures tonight. However, they do expect between 10 and 30 aircraft to be landing here later this evening. They will be parked overnight, so they will be ready for departures to begin tomorrow. That should be great news for folks who have been marooned here for, well, now about 30 hours.
Well, I just found out that my 1:30 flight is canceled, so hopefully I can get there by tomorrow.
It was a long, frustrating day for passengers who were stranded here. They stood in long lines to rebook their tickets. Promises of getting out tonight proved overly optimistic.
I ticketed 10 minutes ago to leave at 7:35 tonight, and as I was walking away, they said they were canceling everything until 8. So I'm back in line hoping I can get out tomorrow morning.
I came here at 7:40 this morning, and the flight was canceled. So they rebooked me for 1:50, and now we're canceled again.
Airport snow removal crews hope to have the 2 main runways open by 6 p.m. tonight, but there will be no departures. However, about 25 planes will arrive, park overnight, and be ready to go tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, you're probably going to have a limited schedule. We're estimating it would probably be 60 to 70% of a normal operation.
Well,